everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Penny. I'm a certified advanced esthetician in Portland, Oregon. And today we're going to be discussing post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And what that is a common inflammatory dermatosis where you get those dark marks that are left after acne or an injury, maybe a burn. Insect bites can leave you with PIH, contact dermatitis, maybe a cosmetic procedure. So it's an acquired pigment that occurs after inflammation or injury, and it can be in all skin types, but it more often affects darker skin types. So today I'm going to give you some strategies and ingredients to look for to help fade your dark marks and also help with deep dermal melasma, because a lot of these ingredients really work well for that as well. So if that is of interest to you, then just stick around. Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you that I have notes. So I'm going to be looking down just a little bit because I don't want to miss anything. Primarily, I don't want to skip any ingredients to tell you to look for, because these are fantastic ingredients that you can incorporate easily into your skincare routine without disrupting anything else that you're doing. So these ingredients are going to be listed in the description box. So if you need to print them out or copy them, they will be there as well. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about hydroquinone. Hydroquinone is definitely a fantastic ingredient. I've talked about it so many times. It can be 2% over the counter, but it can be 4% and greater, up to 10% prescribed by your doctor or your dermatologist. Now, hydroquinone is basically the gold standard. It helps to stop the enzyme that's responsible, or partly in the process responsible, for the transfer of melanin into your skin. So hydroquinone is definitely great for PIH. It is great for pigment in general, hyperpigmentation. It helps with melasma. There are definitely downsides to hydroquinone. If you overuse it, there are skin conditions that can arise. Some people are definitely sensitive to it and can have reactions to it. You can build up and eventually have a reaction to it. So while it is an incredibly effective ingredient, it's not without its downsides. Now, the next ingredient is azelaic acid. I've talked about this one before too. Azelaic acid is not an alpha hydroxy acid. It is not a beta hydroxy acid. It's its own group. It's in its own group. And it is anti-inflammatory, fantastic for PIH. And it definitely also helps with inhibiting that pigment. Great acid to incorporate into your skincare routine. Next is kojic acid. Now, kojic acid actually comes from a fungus, and it is also a tyrosinase inhibitor. Very, very effective. You can get kojic acid in a soap. So it's also kind of an easy way to incorporate into your skincare routine. Licorice. Licorice is really cool, you guys, because it's anti-inflammatory, it's antimicrobial. It also helps to inhibit that enzyme. So it's a really good natural way to help with pigment. I will tell you that when I tell people to use licorice, I often suggest they're using it with all kinds of other stuff, because I think licorice all by itself isn't going to do the trick. But licorice, in addition to other hitters, will help your pigment for sure. And because it has so many great qualities, like being anti-inflammatory, which is, if you think about post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, the key word there is inflammatory. So we're really trying to combat inflammation, and that repeated inflammation is part of the reason why you're getting those dark marks, along with UV exposure. Licorice is just a fantastic ingredient mixed into this mix. Next up is arbutin. Now, I've talked about arbutin before as well. Arbutin is kind of the natural counterpart to hydroquinone. So it comes from a plant, and it is also a tyrosinase inhibitor. So it helps to just stop that pigment in its tracks before it gets transferred into the skin. Next up is soy. Soy is fantastic because it helps with photo damage, you guys. It helps with brightening your skin. You can use it in a sunscreen, and it really can just make you illuminated. I really like soy. Next up is niacinamide, vitamin B3. You've heard me talk about this. What is cool about niacinamide in relation to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, those dark marks, is that it comes at the pigment differently than everything else I just talked to you about. It inhibits the pigment pathway differently. So it's like you're coming at the pigment from a different direction. So, you know, kind of a 1-2 punch. Niacinamide is so good for your barrier. It's really good for your pores. It helps because it's reinforcing your barrier. So that's a really nice side effect, is to get some refined pores. But niacinamide is definitely a fantastic ingredient to incorporate into your skincare routine. Next is going to be vitamin C. Now, I don't want to confuse the vitamin C / niacinamide thing here, because I know that I've told you guys that you use vitamin C and niacinamide separately. And I'm going to tell you my rule of thumb. My rule of thumb is, if I'm being the cosmetic chemist in my bathroom and I have vitamin C and I have niacinamide, I alternate them. Because they're separate chemical formulations in different bottles, and I just would rather be safe than sorry and make sure that I'm not making one or the other less effective. If I purchase a product where vitamin C and vitamin B3 are together, niacinamide and vitamin C are together, I have confidence in the chemical construction of that product, that they made those two ingredients in such a way that they help each other. So know that if you see products where you see both niacinamide and vitamin C, they've been formulated chemically to work together and to even boost their effectiveness. So my rule of thumb is, if I'm the cosmetic chemist in my bathroom, I'm keeping them separate. If the cosmetic chemists that know what they're doing put it together in a bottle, I'm trusting that. I hope that that doesn't confuse this sort of debated topic. The last ingredient and the star of the show, the one that I think is the most exciting and the most effective for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, is tranexamic acid. Now, this is a drug that's been around for a long time, you guys. Back in the early 70s, they started using it for blood clotting, basically in surgery, internally, taking it internally. What I'm talking about today is topical tranexamic acid. And the neat thing about this acid is that it helps to stop the UV kind of activation of melanin. So that is different than, you know, tyrosinase and that kind of stuff. Actually, without getting in the weeds of the science, tranexamic acid actually inhibits a different enzyme that is also responsible for transferring melanosomes, melanin, into our skin. So it comes at the PIH from a whole different direction. It is also anti-inflammatory, which is fantastic, and it has been shown to work as well as hydroquinone without the downside. I think that that is so exciting. Now, initially, topically, you could find this from like Skin Medica and SkinCeuticals. Now, we all know that those are expensive brands with a lot of research behind them, and I definitely have great respect for both of those brands, but they are very expensive. And I really feel like this is a skincare routine that you need to use for a little while. So you're gonna have to repeatedly buy the product. So I was very, very excited to find some products that are affordable, that appear to be just excellent ingredients. And the kicker is, when you order them, they make them fresh. I just think that that is absolutely incredible. So I want to share those two with you. I am going to link the Skin Medica and the SkinCeuticals. If those are your jam, if those are your brands, I want you to know where you can find the tranexamic acid in those brands, but I want you to know that there are affordable alternatives that are pretty amazing. And number one is this one. It's called Skin Brightening and Anti Aging Serum. Now, these are both from the JJ Labs, is the laboratory in California. Definitely not sponsored. I bought these with my own money after researching the heck out of tranexamic acid. You guys, I've been down the tranexamic acid rabbit hole now for weeks. So this one is tranexamic acid, arbutin, vitamin C and E, licorice, and hyaluronic acid. It's in a hyaluronic acid base. Very, very cosmetically elegant. I am now incorporating this into my AM, PM routine that I did 6 weeks ago. This is now in that routine as well. I have added it in. The way that I'm doing that is I am simply cleansing my skin at night, and then this goes on. I let my skin dry and I go on with my retinoids and everything else. In the morning, I am cleansing my skin. I'm using my Biologique Recherche P50 1970, and I'm letting that set for just a little bit, and then I'm using this and I'm going on with the rest of the routine exactly how it was in that video. But I'm incorporating this because the research that I've done on this tranexamic acid definitely tells me that not only can this help with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, it can help with dermal melasma. So that really stubborn, deep melasma, tranexamic acid can help with that. Now, it's a bonus to me that it has vitamin C and E and licorice and all of those other good things. The cocktail in this is fantastic, super affordable. And like I said, it's made fresh, ready. You know, I ordered it. I think I got it within a week, or less. And I knew that it came to me just made. I think that that is incredible. I really do. Now, the other one that I did also order is also from JJ Labs. And this one is called Kojic Acid Skin Whitening Anti Aging with Hyaluronic Acid. This one has kojic acid, tranexamic acid, resveratrol, vitamin B3, which is niacinamide. It has MSM. It has MAP vitamin C. Now, MAP vitamin C is magnesium ascorbyl phosphate. And you probably don't remember, but in my microneedling serums video, that's one of the vitamin Cs that is highly recommended post microneedling in the days following the inflammatory phase, because it's super stable form of vitamin C, and it's a very low irritating type of vitamin C. So that's exciting. This also has licorice, and it's in a hyaluronic acid base. So again, here we have, just a really awesome cocktail of ingredients. And it's fresh made, comes in a dark bottle, which I appreciate. This one is a pump. Now, I love that this one is a pump because I'm not opening and closing the bottle. This one does have a dropper like this. And so honestly, I'm sure there's a reason, but I wish they'd all come with a pump so that you're not exposing it to oxygen. But I don't care. I'm going to use this up by using it day and night and try and get through it before any of its efficacy fades. So these are two products that I can highly recommend if you suffer from dermal melasma in general, pigment, if you have post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, if you have emailed me or asked me about those dark marks that are left behind, look into tranexamic acid. It's really exciting, topical. It's definitely a nice choice versus your hydroquinone if you're not interested in going that route. And I definitely think it can help quite a bit. The last thing, and this is so important, is that you wear sunscreen. I've said this before, but post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, part of what's going on is UV stimulation of that pigment and repeated inflammatory responses. So picking at your face and not protecting it from the sun is only going to make those dark marks worse. So try and keep your hands off your face and always protect it from the sun. And these other ingredients that are in these products, like resveratrol and certainly the vitamin C, those just boost the efficacy of your sunscreen. So fantastic to use in the morning. I will tell you that I used this one. I've used it for a little while now. And it is a typical hyaluronic acid base where it looks like that. It is great under makeup. I found no pilling. I didn't feel like my skin was sticky or tacky. It just kind of soaked in, and I went on with my routine. And that is fantastic too. These are great. They are both really cosmetically elegant as well. I hope that this is helpful. I'm super excited. This will probably not be the last video on this ingredient because there's, of course, a lot more. There have been studies that show that it is really great post microneedling when you suffer from both PIH and from hyperpigmentation and melasma. I'm gonna dive into that more deeply so that I can explain it to you better, but just know it is a really stellar ingredient for that as well. Not day of, we're still just doing hyaluronic acid, but in the days following, when your skin is just ready to receive product, it is being shown to really help reduce that pigment after microneedling. That's a whole nother video, you guys. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you learned something new. I hope that if you suffer from PIH, that this will help you because it's a psychological, threat as well. I mean, nobody wants to have those dark marks. I know it. I have clients with it, and it definitely affects people just like my melasma affects me. I'm empathetic. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon.